Excorde Media presents Catholicism 101 Essentials for the Journey with author and theologian Jeff Cavins. Lesson 5, Mass, the Center of Our Faith.
And so from Moses' time in the Old Testament to today, still what makes the people of God unique is the presence of the Lord in their midst. And in the Old Testament, the Lord was present with them, but in the New Testament now, He is present with us in a very, very substantial way. And we call that the real presence of God in our midst. And to start off this lesson, I would like to submit to you that what makes us distinct, what makes us different than all other people on earth as Catholics, is the fact that in our churches, Jesus Christ is really substantially present. He is with us. And we can make that claim because of the Eucharist. So as we study the Mass today, we are taking a look at the completion, the fulfillment of all that has gone before us with God's dealings with Israel. For Catholics, there is absolutely nothing as important as understanding and participating in the Mass. It is the source and the summit of our faith. It is the center of the solar system of all of the sacraments. Everything revolves around the Eucharist. It is the source of apostolic zeal, John Paul II said, for families. There is nothing that can replace it. There's nothing worth going anywhere else for to replace it. There's nothing that will give you more grace, which is the life of the Trinity, than the Eucharist itself. And so it's so important for us as Catholics to know it. I remember growing up Catholic, and my memory of going to Mass was divided up by how far along we were in the Mass. Standing up, sitting down, I knew that when the Lord's Prayer came, there was light at the end of the tunnel. I knew at that point that we'd be going home pretty soon to resume those important things in our lives. What I didn't realize growing up, like so many young people today, is that I was sitting on a literal gold mine. I was on a gold mine and I didn't even know it. The Mass is the only place on earth, the only place that represents in a way that we can participate the passion, death, and resurrection of Christ. The central redemptive event of the universe took place 2,000 years ago, and there's only one way to participate in it, and only one way to observe it firsthand, front row, and that is in the Mass. What a privilege God has given us in coming to the Mass. But I'd also like to say, while we are in the front row observing, that the Mass is not a spectator sport. It's not something that we just go and watch, but it is something that we participate in. And this is what makes the Mass different than many other meetings out there in denominations, where we come together not to watch, not to just observe and listen to someone else, but to fully participate in a drama that we're going to enter into. And the drama that we enter into in the Mass is a drama that took place 2,000 years ago on Calvary. But what we do as Catholics is sacramentally, we defy time and space by sacramentally joining that event and participating in that one-time sacrifice. But I want to say something about the word liturgy that I think is important, because I've been on both sides of this fence. I've been a part of a church for years that I pastored a church where we equated spontaneity with holiness. And we equated non-structure with spirituality. That to really be spiritual, you don't need structure. You don't need structure. But what's interesting about that is that that analogy completely falls apart in the rest of our life, where we perceive that it's a very, very special event like a wedding. How many times will you hear a bride say, well, this is really, really a special, special event. Let's just wing it. You'll never see it. Why? Because we as created beings, we heap ritual. We heap organization on top of those things that we don't know how to express ourselves. And God helps us in this.